All right. And we are live on YouTube. Welcome. Welcome, my friends. Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. Let's see if I can get everybody going. All right. Hope. Yeah. Welcome, my friends. Hello, hello. Good to see. All right. Now we got my stuff together. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see all of you. Welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? All right, so let me give everybody just a minute here and we will get started. So this energy, I'm just going to tell you, I did the best I could to kind of consolidate it quickly and give you the simplest version of what's happening, because it's not about what's happening to us, it's how we're interpreting things. And that, my friends, it's what's coming up. So let me open, the chat should be open. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the chat is open. Here we go. Everybody should be able to chat in the chat. Go ahead and say hi. Hi. All right, it's up. Awesome. All right, my friends. Okay, let's get started. All right, welcome to the Truth Tribe, everybody. As you all know, I'm Dawn Thompson, and thank you all for being here every Monday with me. You are all perfect exactly where you are right now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I promise, because it feels like it. I'll tell you that. Remember that I love you all and that you need love, and I pour love out to all of you every day. Truth Tribe, as always, is to illuminate your self-awareness of your health, your wealth, and your love in some version. I don't believe that you need 20 years of therapy when we can do it in one session. Validation. Validation is clarity now. You don't need an astrology chart for Truth Tribe in any moment, but it sure helps when we discuss hot spots in your own chart or in the sky so you can see where you're getting stuck. We will talk on a specific spot tonight. But tonight's topic is, do you fight to win or to wound? It's a big thing coming up right now, and relationships, my friends, are really pushing us to grow. And this is why so many are feeling off, unstable, uncomfortable at the moment. Why? You are in rebirth energy, period. And it feels uncomfortable and anxiety and nervousness and like just this plain discomfort, okay? And it's because we have not been living authentically, okay? We have not been taught self-awareness strategies. So how do you deliver your authentic self if you don't even know who you are? And there's a very high percentage of the population that is not as self-aware as you may think. And personally, I'm watching this. I watch people arguing and disagreements. And most of all, people right now are seeing it as fighting. And I personally think it gets a bad rap when it comes to relationships, okay? When disagreements arise, it's a kind of a revealing of not being open to change. And it's simply your resistance viewpoint, right? On why you're avoiding certain discussions. Most people are there. So think about partnerships. Why do we yearn for them if they are so hard? We are in a new state of partnerships, and relationships are moving from that old white picket fence kind of two people accepting external labels for what a relationship is to be success. And it was very numbed and very silent and very disconnected. And it's now moving to each partner owning their crap and stepping into a union of being each other's rock. And sometimes one partner is possibly lagging. So your personal self-awareness at this point in life is crucial. Okay, so stepping back from that rescuer role, which we've all been in, and into ownership roles, learning to ebb and flow through your personal masculine, feminine. And when each each is needed to step into. You know it. You know when you're too much of one side or the other, but not to avoid the aspect of yourself that's been hidden out of fear programming, fear porn mongering programming that's just complete fear porn. And it's just scaring the crap out of people. And I just disagree with it. Okay. So let's view fighting, because it's coming up a lot. People are like, they're fighting, they're arguing, they want to argue, and they don't. But people are asking, why are we doing it? And why is it so often right now? To make sure we don't get hurt. But it's also to make sure that these disagreements are coming up so that we are heard, right? We do it and we argue because we don't want to get hurt, and we want to make sure that we are heard, only to mistake the pressure that's pushing against us as a negative instead of this growth opportunity. Okay. So are you fighting? And I want you to ask yourself, whoever it might be, irritated, disagreements, are you fighting to wound your partner down to your unhealthy love level, or are you fighting for something greater by expressing your authentic truth and staying there? Because remember, 2 weeks ago, we discussed your non-negotiable finish line. You have to decide what your authentic finish line is, and then bring people to that place with you, or express it. And if you're self-aware enough of who you are, you know what it's going to take to get there, and you don't budge. And so I want to share what happened for me this last weekend. My husband and I attended a wedding for some extremely dear friends of ours this last weekend. And it was a wedding of two incredibly powerful people who have achieved great success in their physical lives, but they found challenges up to the wedding week. I mean, up to the week of the wedding, of learning to trust each other with their hearts, and to trust how to lean on one another to see their authentic selves, and know that their marriage was predestined to teach each other, right? And learning to overcome their mental and spiritual blocks. Okay. So now let's just say they're both type A, they're stubborn, they're protected people who both have been fighting to grow, but came together instead to fight, right? To learn new strategies for communicating their soul's authentic truth. Okay. To learn how to express and not to avoid it. Not easy if you've only been taught to protect yourself, right? And so externally, right, their pushback on each other was on what kind of marriage they wanted, what challenges, what challenge and was coming up, because admitting it, if they were to say that, would seem to this hard shell programming they had, that they were not open for growth from outside spectators. Now, if someone was watching this, it would look like they weren't open. Okay. So now let's just say that they had some elevated, boisterous, challenging conversation, shall I call it, that they didn't hide. So people knew they were struggling, but they weren't struggling with their hearts and love. But in the end, what happened is they both knew their hearts would not be safer with anyone else but each other. And in these elevated fights, shall we call them, as most would call it, I saw elevated pressure from each other, forcing one another to grow past their comfort zones of learned unhealthy love and to grow into healthy love. And now from the outside, the external world, it would seem that they were not meant to be, not compatible. Okay. But from having an inside view of the two that I know very well, I saw the most beautiful fight for winning in every possible way to build healthy love. And they weren't giving up. They just were struggling to break down that old programmed barrier. And that's what they did, following some very deep, authentic discussions that they had to push through. But on the actual day, they were the most connected, loving, solid display of what authentic love looks like, because they fought to grow their communication to authentic love and truth. And when you fight, my friends, for your vision of your dream relationship, you cannot lose. And it doesn't have to be a marriage partner, it could be anyone. But when you fight to hurt the other person, to bring them down to your refusal to see your own bullshit boulders, you will be in a constant state of disappointment. Okay? Love is not the goal. Growth to healthy authenticity is the goal. Can you be your authentic self in this partnership? This is how the new partnerships will be revealed in the new world and the new earth and the new living and the new frequencies. It's unavoidable. And I share this over and over again because self-awareness is crucial. So if you don't know your shit and you don't know your gifts, how does anyone else know? Self-awareness is such a BS topic lately because if you don't truly know yourself, you show up as a moving target, right? Never present with who you want to be. And then others are around you. They're like clueless on how to meet you at that true self because they don't know what you want. They don't know who you are. So ask yourself, are you self-aware? What does it mean to be self-aware? And do you have a strategy to determine how you show up in the world with other people? We discussed the first level of this, right, last week or a couple weeks ago. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was a couple, 2-3 weeks ago at the online Elevate class, right? Which you guys can now access that course online at elevate.ideserveitnow.com or on my website, ideserveitnow.com. Okay. And as I like to call it, it was learning your personal iPod list of songs playing healthy love and unhealthy love. So you got to know what you play, what songs you play, what do you present out to the world? And so here, if you didn't take the class, if you haven't taken Elevate, if you haven't done some of my personal work, here's your basic litmus test, okay? To see how well you know yourself, how self-aware you are, okay? I want you all on this call real quick. I want you to think about something you really want, okay? I mean, like, it's really something you dreamt of, it's valuable to you, you've always wanted a healthy marriage, maybe travel to somewhere specific that's special to you, a healthy body, a spiritual connection, maybe an authentic life that's living your truth. Okay, think of that thing. Just, I've always wanted to go there. I've always wanted this relationship. I've always wanted this body, this health, this career, whatever. Okay, now I want you to say to yourself out loud if you can, if not in your mind, I deserve it. Okay, now I want you to ask yourself, do you have it in your life? Because you may have already had it and you want it again, right? Do you have it? And if you don't have it, you are not self-aware of your boulders that are blocking you from achieving it. Because deep down, you don't feel like you deserve it. Because if you did, you'll have everything you feel you deserve right now. You do. You all have it. We all have some BS belief somewhere that's blocking our way. You have everything you want, and it's all yours. Everything you want is yours right now. There's just something in your way. Your way, not no one else is stopping you from getting it. So what would your life look like if you were to view it at the 10x level, like you 10x your life to the next level? What would it look like? What would the vision look like? Where would you live? How would it be? Who would you be with? What would you experience? Do you see the boulders in your way, or do you see it clear as day? And then this is the fighting for growth. Any challenges, any people or experiences are just simply boulders in your path, testing your worth, testing if you deserve it. But we don't go big and then go, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna be some pressure showing up. But when someone brings it up, right, they bring up your block in some way, right? They bring up something that's stopping you from getting what you want. You got, like, I watch so many people get all bent out of shape when they see why you aren't living your best life, because they see your light and your potential, and you're pissed at them for pushing you what they're doing. Even if it's something they can't see they're doing, their energy is pushing you to the next life. This includes, and most of all, my friends, this includes those who piss you off, and they're usually family members, children, and spouses, okay? People close to you to touch your heart. Why? Because they see your soul, okay? And they are your soul contracts that you set up before you incarnated on this earth. I know, I mean, it's crazy. I know, right? Like, to think that you set up yourself for challenges. And so the challenge is because you see people as your equal, or that they should know you, and instead of seeing them as pressure points for your own good so that you can know you. That's the flip. They show up so you can see if what you really want at the end of the road, that finish line, is what you really want. Is that who you are? They are your pressure. They show up to pressure your internal hotspots to get you to see your authentic self. And are you living your life authentically? Okay. Authenticity is the highest frequency you can express. It's truth. So in all your relationships, your only intention is, am I fighting for growth? And I promise you that holding that intention and that language will shift the relationship between you, no matter if it's even someone from your past. And you're like, okay, if I'm living authentically and I don't know why I keep going back to this person from my past, I'm not living authentic if I'm going there and using them as my excuse. I'm not living my truth. Okay. And so it will shift these relationships no matter how slow or fast the growth is. It will be the marker for the long-lasting relationships, guaranteed. But you have to start with you. It has to be, who are you? And are you at that point where you can say, this is authentically me? I don't change for anybody, but I let them know that so they can meet me there. So tonight, I want to bring up a hotspot in your chart. Why? I'm going to talk about it in the astrology transits a little more in detail, but I want you to understand why you're all feeling off. Okay, so if you have your chart with you, if you don't, it's not a big deal. I'm going to tell you why it's happening. You can just know in general, it's probably blanketing your life. Okay, but if you have your chart, you are feeling the last drop of rebirth with the sign of Capricorn right now in your chart. So if you have your chart, go find Capricorn on your chart. I'll pull mine up in a minute for an example. Why am I bringing up Capricorn? Because Pluto 2 weeks ago finally moved back into Capricorn, and I warned you about this 2 weeks ago, and I'll go over it again. But Pluto's just up in the sky, and it's sitting in the constellation of Capricorn at 29 degrees, okay? And it moved back into Capricorn for about 8 more weeks, sitting there. Before it goes into what I've shared with all of you, is it will go into Aquarius after that 8 weeks for good for the next 20 some years. Okay, so it's the last visit we're going to have there. Why do I bring this up? Why look for Capricorn in your chart? Because the next 8 weeks are the last bit of transformation for you to lay out your unhealthy, programmed, inauthentic self. And it's now going to be replaced with the healthy version of your authentic self. It's going to pressure you, it's going to push you, and they're going to look like the form of people coming at you, right? So let's look at your chart real quick, and I want you to look at your rebirth spot, because this is rebirth is. And Pluto is now in wherever it's sitting, it's going to be sitting in Capricorn in your chart somewhere. Okay, so wherever Capricorn sits, that's all I care about, is where is Capricorn in your chart? Because where that sits, you will feel Pluto's energy. And what it's doing is it's pushing your relationship buttons to speak, to implement, and to activate your authentic self. Pluto rules psychology, secrets, darkness, rebirth, intimacy, other people's money, shared resources. So every relationship they're going to appear to check your level of authenticity in that house, wherever Capricorn sits. So write down or circle the house or categories that are in need for you to visit this review. Okay, so let me pull up real quick. I'm going to show you my chart just so you can see it, and then you'll know where to look. Let's see. All right, so, whoops. Sorry about that. It did not share for me. Let me try it again. There we go. Okay. All right, so I bring this chart up because I want you guys to look at this wheel. My Capricorn, here's my chart, as I always show you guys when you're looking at a chart, okay? My Capricorn is in green. It's probably going to be in green or a version of that, but this little symbol here, so you can look down here at the symbol signs and you can see where Capricorn is. This little symbol here is Capricorn. It's good. Some of you, it might be up here in the 9th house. Some of you might be in career. It might be friends. You're not going to have to worry about it if you don't have a chart. You're going to feel this transformation everywhere, right? But what happens is if you look at your chart and you find Capricorn in the house it sits in, and you look at yourself and you say, what house am I being called to explore? We explore Capricorn, we explore every sign and every house in the DMT method, right? So I'm just bringing up Capricorn where you're going to have rebirth in that house. But the simple view is looking at one in Denver, you guys, by the way, October 19th, it's filling up. Grab your seat. We go over every house and every sign. So if you look at this is my chart. Here's Capricorn ruling my 8th house. And so it's in here on emotions and change and intimacy and rebirth, shared finances, resources, secrets, things that we don't want to share, things we've been hiding from ourselves. So it could be in any one of these houses for you. But when you see that, what house are you personally? I don't really care about Pluto at this point because it's just rebirth. That's where you're going to grow up. So I want you to look at, just circle the house and go, oh, you're right. I've got to step up and up my game. What house are you being called to explore your inner hidden self, secrets, and you're being called to lay a new foundation? Because if you don't have your chart, you can also download your chart. Remember at ideserveitnow.com, locate where Capricorn is. Or remember, you can go get the Zodiac Wheel Medicine is your ebook. You can download it and it'll tell you there as well. But if you look at mine, Capricorn is here. Go look at where it is and circle it, right? With Pluto in the last degrees of 29, what it's doing is it's showing you where you need to upgrade your authenticity. Mine is in the 8th house, right? So it's pushing me to grow in my marriage and changes in psychology and how I share psychology with all of you and shared partnerships, my relationships, rebirth into my authentic vision of myself, which is I'm here to bring up astrology, non-traditional astrology. I don't care where the planets are most of the time. I know you guys like hearing that. The transits at the end, like, what's wrong? Why is everybody crazy? But this is the core. Now, when I saw that, I'm like, why? Guys, I was having anxiety all day long, all day long. And I was getting ready. I had a whole bunch of work on my plate to get ready for this class. And then I looked at this, I was like, oh, that's Pluto has been pushing me to get to my insecurities, to look at what I wanted to clear and start shifting and going, it's time. It's time to show these basic symbols to all of you and say, these areas of my life are how I grow to the 10x level of my life. And that's what is huge. I'm going to stop the share. Again, I will share this into the Truth Tribe wall for all of you. I will put, so someone said, how do we get the far off wheel to the right? I'll share that triple wheel just so you know. I'll share the triple wheel in the Facebook Truth Tribe wall. It says Truth Tribe with Don Thompson. If you're not in it, it's free, but just join in and I'll pop it on the wall. You can download it and keep it, and then you'll be able to balance those. Remember, that's my chart at the top, not anyone else. So your chart will look different. But what house, wherever Capricorn sits in your life, in your chart, okay? Where is it sitting asking you to lay a new foundation, my friends? Where in your life are you being asked to rebirth? Okay, where is that showing up? All right, so sometimes someone says, I have difficulty with all the houses. I'm mainly focusing on one particular house. Is that okay? That's all I want you to do is go and look for the little symbol of Capricorn. And the key will always tell you. So that key that I'm going to put in the Truth Tribe wall, I'm going to have you guys download it, save it on your phone and go, oh, I'm going to go look for the symbol of Capricorn. Whatever house is closest to Capricorn, there might be 2 houses. You're going to go look at that. And I'm only sharing that with you because I'm preparing all of you for the planetary update. You guys are feeling this shift of rebirth. And whatever old you has to let go, wherever house that Pluto is sitting, which is in Capricorn. So don't worry about Pluto, the planets, or anything. Just look for Capricorn. Wherever that is sitting. And thank you, Brian, because by sharing this, a lot of people go, I get confused by the houses. All I want you to do is look for the symbol of Capricorn, circle that house and say, whoop, that's where it's time for me to look at where I'm hiding myself in those topics. That house means those topics. So everybody real quick, listen, repeat after me. I teleport into my 10x dream reality now. Clap 3 times. I teleport into my 10x dream reality now. That's it. That's how fast this energy is going to happen. But you're going to get pushed there and you're not going to like some conversations. And I'm telling you, it's pushing you to see you, nothing else. Okay. So let me get you on this planetary update so you can understand why I brought that up tonight and why I kept the relationship stuff short. You are either fighting to wound others so they'll come down to you, or you're fighting to win because you are authentically being yourself. And you're like, I cannot negotiate who I am. Come up to me. Come to where I am. I am going to lay a new foundation, and this is a non-negotiable finish line. There's going to be boulders in your way. And I'm telling you, people are going to piss you off. That's okay. You want that. Right? When my husband gets me frustrated, and he does, we have the amazing marriage, but there are times I need it. And I'm like, oh, I got to heal this. I got to clear this, or I got to open myself up to be more, open-minded to see myself and clear these things. He pushes me to grow. So let's start with a few weeks ago. The first thing that's getting you guys into a little bit of discomfort. Okay. Again, these are planets in the sky. I'm going to talk about only 2 far out planets, Pluto and Uranus, because they are shaking the thing. They're shaking the trees right now. So all the old apples are falling off. And we are being forced to make an about face and change directions, okay? So a few weeks ago on August 28th, Uranus, the planet Uranus, went retrograde again. Okay, it was going forward and it went backwards again. Now, it's going to stay there till January, okay? End of January. So let's just say by January 27th, so like 1st of February. Now remember, I don't care if it's Mercury retrograde or any planet, retrogrades have big reputation in astrology for causing trouble, okay? Now, they're said to bring chaos wherever they go. So people are like, it's Mercury retrograde, it's chaos. It's not. Not every retrograde brings this confusion into your personal life. Some retrogrades are the universe's way of hitting the reset button when things get too hectic, okay? So Uranus is looking backwards again, and it frees us from thinking inside the box. And it offers us opportunities for reaching out and trying something completely new. Again, rebirth. Uranus speeds up our lives, and it offers us the chances to take some risks, to experiment with totally new ways of living, interacting with others, and in our environment. Uranus is also forward-looking. It's the sign of the future. It does not have patience with lifestyles or attitudes that are attached to the past or traditional ways. And this is why I'm asking you guys to see where rebirth is going to push your buttons in what part of your life. It's going to push your whole life, but that's where you'll feel it most. Okay. So it's looking backwards again to get you to shake loose those last strands of fixed thinking. Okay. Uranus is going to shake us up, and it's going to offer us a chance to be more aware of our own authenticity. It doesn't accept stagnation, nor does it accept restriction. So you personally will find that you've been restricting yourself from breaking open and letting go and choosing something new, because you're like, oh, what will they say? And they will say something, whoever they are. What will they think? What will they, what will they get upset with me if I'm not there, if I'm not people pleasing, I'm not doing it? It's going to not accept it anymore for you. Personal freedom is super highlighted right now. So Uranus is acting to awaken and to make us aware of our feelings of being restricted and constricted, okay? Uranus is going to surprise, jolt, and stimulate you guys. And so this is why so many people are feeling super shaken up to reveal their personal freedoms or lack thereof, okay? This is now happening globally. So you can see people go, no one's going to tell me how to live my life, health, wealth, and love. No one. I'm going to choose the finish line. Dawn told me it's possible. Dawn told me it's non-negotiable. And Dawn told me to pick my most happiest, loving, authentic, beautiful warrior ass self. And when you do that, and it's crystal clear to everyone around you, it's a lot easier for them to get there with you. Now, let's talk about Pluto. Why did I bring up Pluto and Capricorn in your chart? It also is one last time moving backwards, and it's been retrograding, and it just hit back. It was been in Aquarius, so we've been opening up with Aquarius and Uranus into Aquarian energy, okay? But Pluto, think of it, here's the sun, and here's Pluto out here at the last degree of Capricorn, 29 degrees. So it feels like a frenzy, like you need to finish this. When 29 degrees, you're going to move into a new sign. You start at 0 and you go 1 through 30, like 30 days of the month, okay? That planet has to click along through the constellation. But Pluto's super slow. It takes 20 plus years to get through. So it dipped backwards and it tapped into Capricorn again, and it will be there until November. So about 8 weeks, a little bit more, okay? This is going to impact you if you have any planets in your chart. It doesn't matter what planets they are at 29 degrees of Capricorn, Aquarius, Cancer, Libra, Virgo, Taurus, Scorpio, Pisces. Most of the signs, okay? If you have any planets at any of those signs or any degrees at 29 degrees, you're going to feel it more intensely. Guess what? I have 3 planets at 29 degrees. It's been shaking me in a good way. So this means you're under this Pluto transit. And that move back into Capricorn is going to be massively felt by all of you, okay? So the mindset of this transit that I need to remind all of you is, am I pouring a solid foundation that can hold everything I'm dreaming of, that 10x dream life that you just teleported to? Can it hold that and everything I desire to be? Can you dream that up? You don't need to know your chart. That I'm just preparing you. If you know your chart, you know where to expect it a little bit more. If you don't know your chart, I'm telling you, it's going to happen whether you guys like it or not. Okay? So look at where you've come from. Look at where your death aspect of your ego, of your soul, saying, we don't need that anymore. We don't want to be there anymore. We don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to fight to hurt. I don't want to fight to wound people to get to where I am. They're pushing me to grow. I want to fight to grow to the finish line. So look at your beliefs about what it takes to be successful in your mind, in your body, and in your soul, or all 3. And it's going to be uncomfortable, okay? So look at the stories that you tell yourselves about what achieving your dreams would take, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. How am I going to make more money? How am I going to exercise? How am I going to do all these things? I don't want you to know how. I just want you to pick the finish line. Are you still in victim mode, or are you still in no spoon mode, which we talked about the Matrix and Neo and how he learned that if you think of a spoon as a metal spoon and it won't bend, of course it won't bend. But if you think that there is no spoon and in your mind, you can bend your reality to anything you want it to be. That's how I need you to look at every reality. There is no argument. There is no relationship. There is no body. There is no spoon. There is no worry, because you have to pick you. You are all warriors. I have to remind you every call. You all came here, my friends. You all came here because you're on a mission. You have a puzzle piece to fit into this collective, raising your consciousness. And if you stay lit to that finish line, that's all that matters. Relationships are going to show up as these 2 parts that I told you, these planets are pushing relationships into your energy field to see if you're going to pick your authentic self or you're going to pick your old wounded self. You won't like the conversations or the situations or the environments if you stay in that wounded self mode. It's just that simple. Okay? So everybody here, I am courage. Tap in your thymus. Your nervous system is here. Your immune center is here. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I know courage. I know love. I know truth. One more time. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. Okay. So tonight, if any of you are on this call in the chat, I would like you to post your finish line intention. Is it health? Is it wealth? Is it love? Is it relationships that are pushing your buttons and you're going to let them be and you're going to step back? You're not going to argue. You're going to, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to look at them and see what in that argument are they saying that has a sliver of truth to my bullshit. And I'm going to let it go and rebirth into the me who I want to be. Look at what they're sharing with you. Okay? Because if you can look at people calling you out and going, I'm over this whole external wizards programming everybody like, oh, it's this and you're being judged and it's, you know, I don't know. I can't even come up with the words because they're so ridiculous. It's good and bad. It's right and wrong. It's left and right. All that's going away. I've prepared you for all of this. You will fight some other side until you stop fighting it and just pick a finish line. You will fight to go, but they told me I'm not good enough. My skin color, my body type, my foundation, let's just call it your society, your environment, your culture, your family, your people, your marriage, your ex, that's their fault. It's none of their faults. If you're on this call, you are a warrior to step up. And because of that, you have to let go of fighting what's right and wrong. They did this, they did that. None of that matters. That keeps you outside of yourself. What matters is that you're in here saying, who am I authentically if I'm going to be my most badass warrior self? It's the only question to ask right now. Now, I'm preparing you for all of this because these two planets went retrograde and they just started their little poke, right? And so when someone shows up, you're going to back up, you're going to go big picture, and you're going to go, okay, what about this is showing me some bullshit boulders in my way that really aren't in my way because there's no spoon, there's no boulder. I can have exactly the finish line I want. I have to change direction. And when you do, it's going to be faster and easier and smoother and more peaceful because your soul will flow around it like water. Okay? Someone's saying here in the questions, oh, someone's going to learn to dance more, please. Your finish line is dancing. I love it. Why is it, I'm going to read this how it's written. Why is it if I get to step up for me, okay, so I'm stepping up for me, but it triggers my partner to lash out in unkind ways? How do I not get triggered from my partner's unhealthy love? It's a very good question because that's a partner that's going slower than you want them to go. So the bigger question that you have to keep asking yourself is, this is always going to happen, my friends. Someone's going to show up and they're going to show up and push your buttons to see one question. Are you being authentic to what you need? Can you ask them for help instead of upset that they don't understand? They don't understand you. And when you tell them, but then they don't like it. So the answer is, what do you need to tell your partner? Say, hey, partner, what do you need from me so that I'm more clear about my authentic self of what I need? What do you need for me to express for my growth desire and it's not being conveyed? What I need for you to respect it. So ask questions of your partners what they need to accept your authentic self. Why is it not okay to express what I need, right? What is it that's making you upset to accept my growth? These are basic, calm questions. You don't need to fight them for your growth. You need to ask them why they're uncomfortable with your growth. That's how that shifts those partners. Because then they have to step into their own going, you're right, why don't I want to let you grow? Why is that a bad thing? They have to then answer their own pressure from you to grow. That's the difference. It's a really good question. And Capricorn says, or they just talk around. Yes, they do. And that's okay too. A lot of times, some people need time to process where you're at and what it's going to take them to get around some boulders. Okay. Someone says, can Capricorn be anywhere in your chart? Yes, it is anywhere in your chart. Some people it's in the first house. Some people Capricorn's representing your third house, your fifth house, your eighth house, your 10th house, your 12th house. Wherever that Capricorn sits, you're going to feel Pluto's influence a little bit more potent right now. Okay. What if family doesn't want you to change? It's a good one. Because you are fighting for growth, my friends. Okay. You must fight for this. There is no spoon. There is no family. There is no experience. You just love them where they are and let them watch you stay focused on your finish line. It's a non-negotiable of self-awareness of your own life. I cannot be more clear about this. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's your children. People are struggling with kids. I'm like, kids need rules. And I don't mean rules to make them like hurt them. I mean structure and order and confidence of knowing, how do I negotiate this parent? Oh, this is what time we eat? Yes, this is what time we eat. No, I don't know. They don't have any confidence in you. So why would a partner they'd have no confidence in knowing if you're a moving target. If they don't know who you are and what you're authentically telling people, this is, I want the healthiest marriage possible and I'm going to do whatever it takes. You can come with me or not. You'll get there, but I'm going. I want the healthiest body. You can come with me or not. You'll get there, but I'm going. I want the healthiest friends and family around me, and you'll get there. This is how I'm going to conduct my family affairs at home or parties or social events. You can come with and you can show up. And this is always my motto. I've shared this with all of you. You can go up asshole or awesome. Those are my two options to all the people in my life. They all know that. If you show up as an asshole, I will kindly pull you over on the side and say, look, you have to step into awesome or go home and rest, and you can come back later when you're awesome. You don't quit loving people. You don't quit respecting them. That's their space. But people, you have to decide, am I going to show up awesome and this is my authentic self and this is my finish line? Or am I going to judge people? And I mean politically, medically, education. I mean, we are looking outside of ourselves, finding something to find wrong with other people, and we are not looking in self. Self-awareness is huge. There's a study I just saw recently. Someone was discussing it. And you guys can throw I want you guys to guess what percentage of the population is truly deeply self-aware. Like they looked at their chart, they maybe went to the DMT method, or they've done other forms of deep self-awareness. Thank you. 5% of the population, this person gets a gold star. 5% of the population is deeply self-aware. 95% say they are, but they're not. They're still out judging and blaming and accusing of other people. Look what they did. Who gives a shit what they did? We don't care. I only care that you live your 10x dream life. And that does not include anyone that you're worried about. None. It's a huge awakening, and I'm preparing you guys because you don't even need to know where these two planets are in the sky. I'm just telling you what two are the culprits. They are getting us wiggy. I was having anxiety all day today till I don't rarely look at the charts unless I'm doing stuff with you guys. And then I started looking, I was like, oh my gosh. And literally Pluto, which is the planet in Capricorn, is the planet of death and regeneration and secrets and darkness and transforming into the new self. And I have all these new events, and all these people are asking me to do events in the new year at their different locations, which I'm super excited about, but it started giving me anxiety, like prepping. And I was like, no, don't go there. It's okay. I know the transformation, but I started having anxiety because I have all this on my plate. We have the DMT method event in Denver on the 19th. My friends, you want to be there. I promise you want to be there. So what's fascinating about it is that until I looked, this is why I teach self-awareness on steroids at the DMT method. On the Truth Tribe, we do one house, one planet, one thing here and there. But when you know your whole self, that you understand there are 12 fractals of your personality, there are 12 aspects of you. And you show up in each of these environments as a different person. So when people go, oh, they have a multiple personality disorder. No, we all have multiple personality disorders. We just act like we're like in control and we're aware of it, but we're not. Right? So someone says, what percentage do you think is starting to become aware versus completely clueless? I don't think I look at this from percentage or not. I think of this as I don't care if they're aware. I care about all of you. You are my tribe. That is why we call it the Truth Tribe. You are my tribe, and everyone connected to all of you feels the energy I give to you, the energy you step in and go, one thing I heard from Dawn, I got to be authentic, or one thing I heard from Dawn, this argument is me seeing me, so I got to own it and see how do I weave around this and let them be and up my game. One thing that I shift out of you, guess what happens? You energetically are like a pond. I drop the pond, I drop the pebble in the pond, and it ripples, and your ripple goes out again, and your ripple goes out again. So the percentage of clueless Guys, I could go into the energetic frequency of this. We have 5 minutes extra here. So what I want you all to understand is I want you to look at me right now, and you see the skin and you see the hair and you see the body, right? But I want you to imagine that it's a fun question. It is very relevant to what this person is asking. So I'm going to tap into, she's asking, what percentage do you think is becoming aware and clueless? The reason she's asking that question, and I like the question, but I'm going to go off script a little bit for you guys tonight. Imagine that I don't have a body, but you can still see me because you see all these little bubbles of atoms, which are frequency of energy bubbles, okay? So now I have no body, but you still see Dawn. So these are all just bubbles bouncing off each other. I am an energy frequency. And those who are clueless, we'll call them, as she has phrased it, maybe don't see things, maybe don't see anything better. They are not here as lighthouses. They are here as non-player characters, okay? And the reason I say that is because my energy is playing the star of the show. You are all at the movie and I am the star. And then I have a co-star, we'll call him my husband. And then I have a co-star who is my BFF. And I have two other BFFs that they're the other stars that come into the show. Now we're all on stage together and we're in the same show. They're real close to my energy so they can weave. Remember I told you this is called intermingling, right? We have co-creation together. Now you start having sub players. And then you have players who are just playing trees. They're still in your show, but they're just playing a tree. They don't move. They don't really have a line. They don't have a lot of energy, but they're there and you can see them. They're in your energy field. They're called non-playing characters, NPCs, energetically. So you're going to have a lot of NPCs in your life that really don't affect whether you put on this show or not. And some of them are going to be family, some of them are going to be friends, some of them are going to be co-workers. Like I really was great friends with them. I've never spoken to them again. I wonder why. Because they're an NPC. They were a tree. And maybe they were a bush. And maybe this one over here played the rock, right? You have to understand that people are simply energy. You don't look at them as people. Look at them as how close they are into your energy field. Those are the ones who are characters of lighthouses that play in your energy field. The ones that you look outside and you're upset about the tree, that the tree won't change, the tree won't grow, the tree won't become something you want them to become, is why you're getting frustrated. Because energetically, they're not here to play a major role in your life. They're here to see if you're going to be upset about pushing up against them and they won't do anything for you. They're helping you see you, to grow you and not worry about anything that isn't moving for you and that isn't moving to your finish line. So it's the best way I can give you is everybody who looks at politics and like they and that person, it's stupid because they're non-playing characters. They mean nothing to you in your world if you're going to go get your best life. If you're going to sit here and play small, then you're hanging out with trees and you're frustrated with trees who are never going to move. Those are all anything external. Let's just say people in the medical field who aren't healing you, but they keep saying this is the only way. Those are non-playing characters. Go find characters who can come close to your energy field and you start feeling growth and expansion from them. Those are characters who are lighthouses who are also in your energy field to light you up and help you grow. Some of them are going to be close to you and they're going to push your buttons, but you're going to push theirs too. Those are your close characters. Those are your on stage, we're here to go through life and badass warrior up. That's the difference. The best way I can describe this to you, people who seem like they're clueless, it's for a reason. Quit focusing on them. They're trees. They're rocks. They're unimportant to the growth in your life. And so now that you're going through a rebirth, all of you, did you know? The anxiety, the discomfort, the frustration, and possibly relationships that are pushing your buttons, they are forcing you to rebirth into your new life, your new marriage, your new friendship, your new company. Right now, I'm being forced big time into my new rebranded company. These events are taking off faster than I anticipated. It's wonderful. But when you're on the other side of it, I had to let go of the way I thought about doing them, and I had to just let them flow on their own. Not always easy for someone like me, who is constantly in my head. And so I had to open up to rebirth and go, let it flow and it will show up. And it is. But that's on me, right? Some of you may be for your health. Some of you may be for your, go ahead and throw some topics that are coming up for any of you. I'd love to know. Are there any other topics that are coming up for the self-awareness when you're like, there is this thing that I'm feeling frustrated in, and I don't know how to see it in a different way? Anybody? Seeing your life that you get very frustrated with a topic and it does not change. You're constantly feeling like you're on that constant frustration wheel. And now you're looking at it and going, oh my gosh, that person is a tree. That person does not matter in my show. Does that make sense? I went a little quantum with you guys, which is what you all are. You are all quantum beings. You are all energetic beings, and you are all here to express yourself at the highest level. And not all of them will play in your field. Even if maybe they did, someone said siblings, they may have played a role in your life when you were young, but they're no longer part of your show. And your show may get bigger and bigger to the point where you're so, on par and being the best accountant or the best gardener or I don't know, whatever you do. That is the point of this call, rebirth. And what you do doesn't change, but how you do it is going to change. And you have to 10x it, because the world's going to ask you to do that. The universe is pushing you all to see your amazing badass selves. Okay? So let's see. Hopefully that all made sense to you on the quantum field. You guys are getting caught up on trees instead of on your own soul and those who are meant to be in your life right next to you on stage. Okay. So remember, you guys, I will upload the picture I showed you for the keys so you can understand and look at it more in depth. Just print it or save it onto your phone, and then you can look on your own chart later, right? Remember, if you need extra help, the ebook Zodiac Wheel is up now. You can get it on my website or go to idiclub.com. Either one will give it to you, or ideserveitnow.com is my website. You can get it there. The DMT method, doors are open and it is already filling up. Remember, this is a class about touching each one of those houses on your own personal chart, your own grid, your own energy field, and basically upgrading your entire life 10x. It's seeing where you hold not just your Capricorn house of rebirthing behavior, but your entire life gets rewritten to rebirth. So go to ideserveitnow.com. You'll see the pop-up and you can go look through the whole course and see what's going to happen that day. It's 1 day live in Denver. You still have time. Those of you who want the discount code, I have a discount code for all of you. It's going to cut the price in half. So just private message me and I will give you the discount code, because you all get the VIP entry. If you're listening to this class after the live session in YouTube or Spotify, you all know the links are in the notes below. I love you all. You've got this. Everything's okay. I promise. This is actually a really amazing time for you to grow and be your most amazing selves. Go forward, warriors. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Have a great night, you guys. Take care. Brightest blessings.